Okay. All right. I want to talk about this drum. There's two videos. One video, you'll see I'm outside and I'm playing it. I wouldn't say that the microphone was clipping, but it doesn't catch all the tone of the drum. It's hard to record on a phone like I'm doing. But anyway, it gives you a good idea. Selling this bass drum. The reason why I'm selling it has to do with why I wanted a bass drum. It's because I noticed when I would go to these period drum circles, Revolutionary War reenactors, um, Civil War reenactors, things like that, you notice there's not a lot of bass drums. A lot of snare drums, a lot of fifes, okay? But there's not a lot of bass drummers. And I always wondered why. So I decided that as I'm a snare drummer, there's my rope snare there. Um, I decided I should bring a bass drum. Let me see how much a bass drum is. And I look, and first of all, there's virtually nothing for sale on the internet. I've combed for months and months, even as long as a year or two, and things would pop up like antique drums, and if they're in really bad shape, $1,000. If I wanted a custom drum shop, which there's plenty of them that'll make you these drums, but they're businesses and they need to charge for overhead and things, and you're spending $1,800 for a bass drum. And that answered my question. Why do you not see these bass drums? Why do you go to a drum circle in Gettysburg and find out that there's one or two bass drummers maybe and like 35 snare drummers and 30 fife players? And a lot of the snare drummers want to take turns playing the bass drum. And there's so it's a fun instrument to play, very flashy, very rudimental, and can really add flair, especially if a good drummer's on a bass drum. But anyway, I digress. So looking for these drums, I realized I can't afford one of these drums. So I said I should make one. I'm a handy guy. I restore drums. I have drums here. These are all restored. All these are restored. Even this old rope drum's 1870. I restored it. I have drum sets, things like that. So it's something I like to do. So I said I'll make a bass drum. And then I priced out the materials, and I go, that's still a tough ticket. So what I decided to do, when I came across a deal where I saw two marching drums, regular high school marching drums, retired high school marching drums, one Yamaha, one Premier. I saw two of them, and I said, I should take these shells, since the deal is good, because shells are expensive too, and I should make two bass drums and sell one to offset the price of the other. And that's what I did, and that's where we're here right now. This is from a Premier drum. All the lug holes are filled in with the classic tacking. I filled in the holes with epoxy and put tacking in. So this thing looks perfectly period by looking at it. The hardware is gorgeous. I got these ears made. It was a community effort. I may have assembled it. I may have organized it. I may have dreamed it up. But David Loyal from Loyal Drums supplied the hoops. He made a set of ears. William Chappelle, he's a leather maker and artisan leather maker in Virginia. He made these ears. There's a guy called Jason Kochi. He's a carpenter, a local carpenter, and I seen his table. He's like a table. He makes tables and he makes furniture and stuff. And I asked him. I said, "How about you do the sanding, the staining, and the polyurethaning to make this thing nice?" And so all throughout the way, it took a long time to get done, but slowly but surely, I got these drums finished, and I have them put together. And I have some experience with rope drums, putting them together and stuff. It's my first time using hemp. David Loyal recommended that. I think it's a great thing. It's not like cotton where it stretches. This is actually much better using hemp rope. But anyway, it's a beautiful drum. Brand new heads. Okay, these are the Remo fiber skins. I faded. I found a video on how to fade or even lift the logo, so people don't see a modern Remo logo on what's supposed to be a drum from 200 years ago or something. So, but anyway, this is a community effort. The biggest problem I found was shipping this thing. I went to the UPS store because I've heard horror stories about eBay underrating the shipping. Um, and I just basically threw it on a scale. I said, add a couple pounds because there's some extras. I'm going to talk about them throwing in here. They whacked you. It's Let me see. I have it written down here. I took notes today. The UPS store, for a fair enough zip code from New Jersey, $175, $173.88 with $1,000 insurance. I am insuring this. We don't want any hiccups. $76 for the packaging, to package it as if it's fragile, which it is, and $5 for a signature. That's a ton of money. That really did add to the price, unfortunately. But I'd rather sell this to someone on the street, and who knows, maybe I will. But I'm putting it on eBay, and I guess that's the price of buying it on eBay because shipping is important. Now, there's a few things I'm adding. I'm adding a gator case. I ordered two gator cases, one for this drum, one for the other. So this goes in a case, goes in a soft shell case, brand new case, because it just helps with the shipping and packing. And you should have a case with this drum. It's a beautiful drum. Throw it in a pair of gloves for pulling. That's nice to keep in the case. Pulling the rope. Mallets. And a sling. These aren't expensive mallets. This is an expensive sling. It's a 4-point sling because 4 points are better to carry a bass drum. Less fatiguing. You can buy that stuff later if you want to buy like nice leather slings or whatever. But this gets you going. This is it. This is what you need. So this way when you get the drum, you can strap up and start wailing away. So that's basically it. This drum in particular was the Premier. This was the Yamaha. The other thing I'm throwing in too are extra tacks, because God forbid any of these decorative tacks fall out. There's a couple medallions. I'm going to throw a couple extra medallions in. And when I bought all this stuff, of course I bought more than I could use. If any of that falls off, you could hammer them back in, glue them in, or whatever. I want to talk about the drum. This here was the Premier. I like this one. This is why I'm selling it, because it's the nicest finish. If you notice, the grain is just gorgeous. And that's because the wrap wasn't glued on like the Yamaha. It took me hours and hours of scraping and gouging of the shell. And I thought I wrecked the shell, the Yamaha shell. But my buddy Jason, the carpenter, he kind of saved it. And we stained it a slightly darker color, if you can see it. And there's gouges. It gives it character, and I don't plan on selling it, so I'm not worried about it. But this one I am selling, so I got to give you the nice one. So you can see the finish all the way around. I'll show it all the way around so you can see. Okay? It's beautiful. The grain just pops. The Premier, they only had one glue joint. That's all we had to work on. Yamaha, they want their wraps to be bulletproof, apparently. So, but anyway, this thing has a really nice tone. So we're gonna put it up there and see if somebody wants to partner up with me. You buy this drum, which would cover the cost of the materials, and pretty much this whole community effort and the labor of love that we put into this gets paid for. So I would really like to see that. Now, I did write the history of all this stuff, the people who worked on it, the people who made the ears, the David Loyal, William Chappelle, Jason Kachi. I wrote it all in there, and I hope that inside with a pencil, and I hope that, if you ever have the heads off, you put your name in there too, and say, I purchased this on eBay or something like that. The longer this drum lives and the more history that's recorded on it, the more value it'll have. And emotional value, which could also help monetarily wise. So keep that in mind. I hope you enjoy it. It's a quality drum. It's well made with a lot of love. And I got a lot of really good help. I recommend Loyal Drums, David Loyal. He has a lot of nice stuff. You can buy custom slings. You can buy old style bass drum beaters. You can buy parts from him. And I got technical help from him. He helped me with a couple key questions I had about these bass drums. It was the first time me doing a bass drum. So anyway, I hope that's good. And if you have any questions, just reach out and we'll see what we can do. All right. Thank you.